Hey there, everybody. Thanks for signing on to be here today as I explore indoor life as a bit of my work day, and thanks for subscribing to the channel here and for all your comments. I super appreciate all that. Today I pulled off a linoleum floor that was down here because it had flooded in the winter, and I replaced a bunch of this plumbing off the sink just now, sealed up old vents that were no longer working as potential rat things, places for them to get through. And as part of this project, I picked up a new tool, which many of you know is a nice little multi-tool, oscillating tool. And because of the deal, I got this great 6 amp hour 18 volt battery, lithium, so you know I'm gonna go to hell for all the mining that's happening. But after probably about 3 hours of work with it, it's still got 3 bars on this thing, which is pretty great. So I'm stoked on that. You might ask, Reed, why are you low ending it with the Ryobi? Well, I got gifted a really old Ryobi set, and that's just what's happening. I don't actually use these tools all that much because I'm usually outdoors. Go outside for a moment. There it is. Say hi to the world. Get a nice fresh breath. Have you been outside today? Do you need to get outdoors? Let's go together. Oh, that's a lot better. Birds are chirping and evening's approaching. So it's nice having some indoor work some of the time, but when it's beautiful outdoors, kind of dislike it a bit. And this morning, I guess, for a moment, here's the wetlands again. And part of my thoughts during the day are around listening to some science fiction books while I'm working away. I'll be honest, I'm probably not catching maybe even as much as a third of it because I'm more focused on my tasks at hand than the storyline. You know, when you're trying to troubleshoot 1 1/4 inch ABS piping and the store only carries 1 1/2 inch, and even the adapters aren't all that great for it. There's a little bit that goes into it. I think I managed to work it out well. Glad I picked up some extra supplies for that while I was off island on Tuesday. And oh gosh, the air is so nice out here. Oh, look at this. I think this is a plum that's starting to leaf out. There's some leaves on the plum too. And a troubleshot in my studio, this Maris Hedra effects pedal. Finally got it to work, which is fantastic. There'll be upcoming videos from all that. And oftentimes life is about troubleshooting, and you know, picking up that new tool made my job, I don't know, 5, 10 times simpler, which that's a significant increase. And a lot of troubleshooting can go down to having the right tool or the right piece, and the ability to recognize what that is and figuring out where to get it and hoping for timelines that work out to get it right. What area in your life are you needing to troubleshoot and pick up the next tool? Shout out to my brother who needed a new computer as his finally bit the dust, and he made that happen, and thanks to everyone who helped him with that. There was a lot of people who showed up for that. You know, sometimes one of the best things we can do is find the right person to help us troubleshoot a given thing. And it makes me recall, like, you know, there's plants that can help us troubleshoot things depending on if you're working with the earth and trying to get the earth to do different things, sometimes it's stone, sometimes it's the organisms that live within the soil. And you know, the intrigue of, even with this room project, I ended up having to water the space with a bunch of bleach solution because of potential mold factors and things like that, and I just needed to kind of have a quick kill on any growths that might be taking place. So I won't be putting the next floor in until that's dried, hopefully by tomorrow. And I wonder, you know, what are the things happening in your life that you need another tool or the right person? Or maybe you're struggling even with the idea of you can't really afford that person or tool, but you know that it's the right thing to move your project forward. Curious to hear what you're working on or what your coming year is going to be working on. Let's get a view. The water is so high that I'm splishing my way out to the dock here for a moment. It's a bit lopsided right there. Oh, more ducks. As I've been doing these different jobs for a while now, I've come to see the importance of having the right tool or knowing what the right part is. And even before I picked up this effects pedal, I probably spent about 4 hours researching them to figure out what was going to be, you know, the most appropriate one for my situation. And you know, there's so many options out there for things like that. Now that I've tried it out for a bit, I'm kind of wondering, maybe it was over the top. I tend to do that every once in a while. Even with my paintings that I'm working on, thanks for everyone who's watched those videos. I have a larger piece comparative to what I'm usually working on for sizes. Most of mine are like 8 by 10 inches, but I have one that's like 18 by 36 or something in those ranges. And I noticed that with them, or with that one in particular, it's so large that I'm just a little bit like, it's a bit of a slug to finish it. And recognizing, like, what's the right size for a project or for a thing to engage it in. The ability to figure that out before we start them can be one of the most important factors to actually finishing it, which is one of the better feelings. So I will move forward to that particular painting, but I did pick up some smaller canvas to start utilizing, and had a joyful time painting with my daughter in my lap. She's 3 and likes watching me do that, and it was great to just be able to finish the piece in a pretty swift amount of time. And the satisfaction that comes from that for me is really worth keeping it small. Whereas the album project I'm working on is almost monstrous. And the only problem with that being there's only so much time in the day that I don't often have a lot of time in a given day to work on it. So, you know, all these are aspects of troubleshooting, really. The ability to find time to work on these different projects is as big an issue as having the right tool, as getting the right part, as knowing the right person to call, or having the money to pay them. Well, thanks for being here today. Curious what you're troubleshooting in your own life and how that's all playing for you. Put that in the comments, super appreciate it. Thanks for checking out my Bandcamp page at bendingreads.bandcamp.com. Checking out some of my music over there. You can buy my book there. Have too much fun.